How much did you know of the pitching staff that you were inheriting just from being at Washington?
At the beginning of the process, you don't know a lot.
Mm-hmm.
You've obviously competed against them, and there's talent here with this place, and Ben doing the recruiting. There's good players. So,
Yeah.
and then as it gets closer and you get the job, you really do some digging. So, a couple weeks into it, you have a pretty good feel. But even with fall ball and into where we are now, you don't know everything. So once the bullets start flying, we'll find out a little bit more about them. But there's talent, there's kind of commitment, and a real excitement to be good down there. So it's exciting for that whole group.
What was the process when you came in of just evaluating what you had and then trying to tweak things from there?
Yeah, it's a lot of input from the rest of the coaching staff.
Mm-hmm.
Just really getting down to what the strengths and weaknesses were of last year's team and each individual.
Yeah.
And then more trying to help those guys progress. And whether it's a second pitch, a third pitch, or controlling the running game or fielding their position or command, and just really evaluating what needs to kind of help them get to the next level and have an important role this year. And so for the most part, it's word of mouth from other people. And then as the fall kind of winds down, you get a good feel for yourself on what they've done well and haven't done well.
Does it almost help with getting two guys like Justin and Tyler in here that haven't really been up around the program, so you're their first pitching coach at ASU?
Yeah, I think not only that, but those are two pretty talented kids.
Yeah.
I mean, you're talking about, I think, two kids at the end of the day that have a chance to pitch in the big leagues. So that's a huge bump to our team just in general, and those guys having competed at the college level is huge for them and huge for our group. So yeah, they're a shot in the arm for the entire staff.
Is there a chance they could be the Friday and Saturday guys to start?
Yeah, there's a chance for sure. We all have those two guys in the rotation at this point. Whether or not Friday, Saturday, Sunday, kind of how that matches up is going to be how it affects our team the best. So with the bullpen and kind of how we handle that. So, but I think those two guys, if they do what they're capable of, will be in that rotation and hopefully in there for 15, 16 starts for us.
What was your relationship like with Tracy before he called about the job?
Casual. Obviously, we talked on the field and have known each other from the recruiting circuit and all that stuff, but very casual and nothing to the point where I could say, wow, I've known him for a long time and we're confidants and we talk and nothing like that, but just a mutual respect from the other side.
If Davidovich ends up being the closer, can you just talk a little about him and what he could bring to that role?
It's got a chance to be pretty dynamic. I mean, he can go 92 to 96 with a plus curveball and good feel for the change, and he just kind of has that aura about him. He's got there's a lot of calmness, but there's a little crazy in there too, which sometimes you need at the end. So I'm excited about just that process for him and giving him that opportunity. And I think no matter what role he's in, I think he's going to have a great year and go on to really good things in professional baseball as well.
What type of things have you been working on with Justin this offseason?
It's been kind of getting acclimated to this level. When you're at that junior college level, you kind of get away with a little bit more. So it's kind of fine tuning the stuff and being a little bit more kind of not fine with his stuff, but a little more dynamic with his stuff. The two-seamer, the sinker, has been a good addition for him. He's got good feel for the changeup. The breaking ball is a continued work in process, but gonna be fine. So there's been a lot of things that he's worked on, and he's a worker. I mean, he wants to work on everything. So the laundry list with him is long because those are things that he wants to do.
And are you guys kind of on the same page? Like, do you have a good relationship as of right now?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, you might want to ask him that, but I'm okay with him, and I'm not going to say anything bad about that guy. He's 6'6", 240, so I'll keep my mouth shut on him. But yeah, it's been great. He's a worker, man, and really wants to be great, and that's a great attribute for not only him but the whole staff is guys that want to be great, not just here but over the next 10 years, 15 years of their career.
Which freshman has jumped out to you the most so far?
They've all been good. I think there's two main guys that have really kind of exceeded my expectations, and that's Cam Denny and Cooper Benson. Both of them have been really consistent. Obviously freshmen, so they haven't been thrown in the fire. So when that day comes, who knows what we'll get from them. But everything leading up to this point has great contributions this year and really good for the next 2 years.
Some of the pitchers were saying that when you're making adjustments or talking with them, you're blunt, but you'll try and throw in some jokes in there. How important are those early relationships of being able, a guy that can talk to these pitchers about pitching, but then being a friend to them as well?
Yeah, it's when you go into a new situation. I've done this a couple of times. There's a couple ways to handle it. You can come in kind of guns blazing and my way or the highway,
Yeah.
or you can really get to know these kids and make sure that you find out how to communicate with them and how to teach. And it's just like the classroom situation for a teacher. Not everybody's going to learn the same, and you got to learn to affect people in the way that helps them get better, but also makes them confident in the fact that when they show up every day, they want to learn and they want to get better. So there's some tongue-in-cheek down there, and there's some jokes and there's some fun, but I think at the end of the day, if we have the players that I think we have, they're going to want to be great and they want to work and they seek out information and they're always coming to me with new additions and things that they want to do, and to the point where I'm trying to slow them down a little bit and focus on some of the smaller things, and we're not going to be great in a day, but I think the group's been really good.
You mentioned Tyler and Justin are kind of already in where your rotation is now. So would that mean that maybe Boyd and Eric are competing for that last spot?
Yeah, there's a couple guys competing for that last spot. Boyd's obviously got the track record and the history and has gotten better and been really good and been a good leader for us. And you know, you can't downplay experience. That's something that you want to do in this game because of talent, but at the end of the day, experience is a huge factor in this thing. So Boyd's going to be a huge factor for us in the rotation. Like we said, Dabo could get in there, Tolman can get in there, Cooper Benson can sneak in there. So we've got 2.5 weeks to kind of figure that out, but it's nice to have those options.
Justin Falls over here, guys.
Was it how was it dealing with the opportunity you had with the Giants after just having come here? Was that a little awkward at all, or was
It's awkward for sure. Luckily, dealing with Tracy, he was great to me and really wanted, I think, honestly, for me to have an opportunity like that if I wanted it, and he expressed that the whole time. So I think he and I were good through the process. I made sure to kind of keep the players in the loop a little bit, and they understood. You know, that could have been an opportunity of a lifetime, and if you've got good people around you and you get that chance, I think they'll be excited for you. And the people that aren't excited for you aren't really the people you want to be around anyway. So it was a tough couple, 7 days or so, and exciting on my end too, just to even get to meet with those people and even be in the conversation for a job like that was great. But I'm happy to be here. This has been a destination for me for a long time, since I was a young kid watching those great teams. So it was a win-win as far as I was concerned.
Does that tell you that potentially an MLB job could be in the future for you, that they were interested in you?
I mean, I guess it could, but that's something that even had that job been offered to me, it wasn't a guarantee that I would have taken it anyway. I mean, I feel that strongly about this situation and what we can do here. So it wasn't a slam dunk by any means. So someone else comes calling, you take those phone calls and you do your due diligence, but it doesn't mean that I would want to go anywhere anyway, especially with the team we have this year and the great run I think we can go on. We would like to be here a long time. So that's the goal, and I'm not going to be hunting for jobs in the offseason. That's not my nature.
A bunch of players have openly kind of stated that their goal is Omaha. How important is it for you as a coaching staff to make sure the players are kind of comfortable in saying that their goal is to get to the College World Series and putting that out there?
You want kids, that's a sell for this place. That's part of the recruiting process, is you want kids that want to win and want to play at that highest level and want to be the last team standing at the end. Now, there's a fine line between that and the old cliches of one game at a time, and we're going to do what we do and control what we can control. But you have to have those things in your mind that you want to accomplish. I don't know why you would play college baseball if you didn't want to win the last game of the year. So they all have that. Do they truly believe it? You never know, but if you get on a good run and get through the season, that momentum builds and it becomes a really important part of your team as you get into conference and at the end you can kind of smell that thing at the end. And if you've got a chance, man, you go all hands on deck to get there. It's a great experience.
It seemed like last year at this time, Tyler was kind of an unknown to everyone in college baseball.
Mm-hmm.
What did he do last year to kind of cement himself as one of the best in the country?
I mean, when you're a freshman and you win, I think you won 12 games last year. I mean, that's a hard thing to do, especially like you said, kind of coming from nowhere. He wasn't on the freshman All-American list for the preseason and some of that stuff. So for him to do that is a pretty special thing. And then to be able to continue it once you get that target on your back like he did halfway through the year, you could see how that makes it more difficult, but he handled it great. He does some things, especially to the professional people that are that are kind of special, and that's, I think, what got him with the Team USA tryouts and some of those things after the season. But he's a talented kid and has work to do like they all do, but he does some things that you can't teach.
Davovich mentioned that he was moving away a little bit from his sinker and working more on a traditional four-seam fastball. What does that do for the rest of his stuff and just allow his curveball to play a little bit more now that it's just a little bit more of a straight fastball?
Yeah, it's kind of a chicken or the egg thing when you talk about a guy that throws the sinker, slider, curveball, and the four-seamer. So you want to be really good at something and not just okay at everything. So we've kind of made it that we want to pitch a little bit more up in the zone because the curveball is his best off-speed pitch and one that he can throw for a strike the most, and so we're going to kind of try and do that, but the sinker's not out of the question. There's going to be a time and a place for when we're going to need that. There's going to be a first and second, nobody out situation where he's going to try and get the ball on the ground, and that's going to be an important pitch. So it's not that we're putting anything away and locking it up by any means, but we're going to try and do things a little bit different to try and get to his strengths, which that curveball is one of his strengths, and it's a big league pitch. So we want to make sure that that's a good pitch for us.
Last question for Coach.
Where does Cooper fall as far as freshmen that you've seen that are ready to go by the time they get here?
Yeah, that's a great question. I've been lucky to have some good freshmen. I think at Washington we've had a freshman on Friday night for the last 3 or 4 years, but he's that kind of kid. Like there's some experience there. You know, he played for a great travel ball program in BPA and a good coach, Jared Sandler, and someone that was hard on him and expected a lot from him. So he's been through that circuit of really good competition. So there's a little bit extra with him where he's not afraid of the moment and he's willing to compete at that level. So he's a good one and one that I don't think we've seen the best of by any means. So I think he's good and he's ready, which is odd for a freshman, but I think he's got a chance to really be great as the years come.
Thanks, Coach.
No problem, guys. Thank you.